Hi everyone, welcome back to Earl Grey Books. I'm Ellie and today we're doing bookshelf crawl for September. So these have been kind of longer videos for the last two that I've done. This is my third round of the game. So I'm just going to jump in and and I'll sort of explain as I go, but we're just going to start straight away. So as per usual, first point of business is the shelves. So the point of bookshelf crawl is that I roll a 12-sided dice and each number relates to a shelf that I have here of TBR books. So if I roll a 1, I pick something from shelf 1 and etc. So as per usual, first thing is showing you which shelf is which. These are pretty much exactly the same as last time, except for I switched out my art history shelf. This shelf is a mix of books of my boyfriend's that I want to read and books of mine that he wants to read. So obviously I was picking from there the ones that of his that I was interested in. This is honestly a shelf that I will probably bring in like every couple of months because there isn't a whole lot on there. Most of them are quite big. So it's gonna come in every now and again, basically. But otherwise, the shelves are pretty much the same. And all my mass markets are now in a shelf rather than just on a desk. So those are the shelves. Next, we're going to talk about rewards and punishments. This is my first month introducing this. So I had a couple of ideas, and again, these are going to change every month as to what is kind of relevant. And as well, I feel like sometimes a punishment can actually be a reward and a reward can be a punishment depending on what's kind of going on. So I have a couple here and we are going to spin today for, you've probably guessed it, a punishment because it's the 20th of August and I have not finished a single book that I picked. I finished other things, but nothing that I've picked from my TBR. So I'm hoping to finish one, but that still doesn't really help me here. So in terms of rewards versus punishments, I am giving myself a punishment when I have read less than 25% of the books. And by read, I do mean finished or DNF'd and unhauled. So if I read less than 25%, I get a punishment. If I read more than 75%, I will get a reward. And if I read anything between 25 and 75%, I don't get anything. So as I said, we're doing a punishment this round. So I have selected a few punishment ideas and we're just going to put them in a spinner wheel, which I am going to set up now. Okay, as you can see here, I only have 4 options this month, which are to unhaul a book, which I think is pretty self-explanatory, add an extra book, so I have to pick something else. Haven't really decided how I'm going to do this, so this is probably going to be the one that comes up. I have to read something I didn't get to before, so I will pick something from, in this case, July or August that I didn't finish, and that goes on here, and something else gets taken off. And finally, it's to swap my screen time for reading time for a week. We'll see how that goes. So let's give it a spin and see what we get. Okay, so I'm sorry that it's like cut off, but Unhaul a Book is the winner, which is for me the easiest one. Now, for this, I'm not going to count anything that I've already in my mind thought, hey, I'm going to unhaul that. It's got to be something new. Not something new, but something new to being unhauled. So, I'm going to have a think about this, and I think I will talk about it in my August wrap up, because I don't really know what I'm going to go for, so we'll come back to it. Okay, now that those things are out of the way, we are on to the roles and the books that I have actually picked for September. I don't think there's really a theme here, other than apparently like black spines. Anyway, here we go. Roll number one. Roll number one. Which is a 9. So that was a 9, which was mass markets. And I actually decided to pick something that I had on, I think this was on my July one actually, which was Branded by Fire by Nalini Singh, which is the 6th. Yes. It's in the Side Changeling series. I did start reading this one. I read the first 50 pages and then I just ran out of time. So I've been telling myself all month, like, oh, I'll get back to it and I'll read more of it and I'll finish it in August instead. And I just haven't had the time and probably won't at this point. So it's going to go in September instead. Roll number 2. Roll number 2. 10. Number 2 was a 10, which is that shelf of Alex and I's. And for this one, I decided to go with A Brief History of the Spy, Modern Spying from the Cold War to the War on Terror by Paul Simpson. This is pretty simple reasoning, which is that I have been writing, and one of the things I've been writing has to do with spies, and I thought that maybe even though it's not set in this period, I thought that it might be helpful in terms of, I don't know, characters, plot, all those sorts of things. So there's that one. Roll number 3. 4. Which was a 4, which is The Shelf of Shame. And for that one, I've decided to go with Pack Darling, Part 2 by Lola Rock. This is part 2 in the series. It is a duology, so this would finish it for me. There we go. I have a bookmark ready and everything, and I just need to start it. I think I read the first one pretty quickly. We will see. Roll number 5? No, roll number 4. Which is a 3. What was it? Roll 4 was a 3. For that one, I decided to pick up Glint by Raven Kennedy, which is book 2 in the Plated Prisoner. The first one is Guild. I read this ages ago now. I think in 2022, maybe. I've been avoiding this one ever since, and I keep telling myself, oh, I need to reread the first one before I can do this, but that's never gonna happen. Like it's been so long now. I can never, like, I don't have access to it anywhere. I read it originally on KU, but of course this has been picked up traditionally, so it isn't on KU anymore. And none of my libraries have it as an ebook or otherwise, and I don't want to buy it for the purposes of rereading it. So we're just going to jump in with this one. I will probably look up a summary recap online and see how we go. Roll number 5, 2. Okay, number 5 was shelf 2, and I have decided to go with Champion of Fate by Kendar Blake, which is a relatively new purchase for me. This here is my kind of new purchase shelf slash, I think it's from like, I think it's just Y and Z. I think that's the only ones that are on here. But as I've been making room up on these shelves, I am slowly moving the things that I have already hauled up into the shelves. And so that is how this one ended up there. Should be a fun read. Very much looking forward to it. Roll number 6, which is an 8. Roll 6 was an 8, which is this shelf. And for that one, picked one that I haven't hauled yet, which is the Book of Azrael, maybe, by Amber V. Nicole. I picked this one up completely randomly. Have never heard of it. Still haven't looked anything up about it. Honestly, I'm hoping I like it. I might not. I have no idea. It sounds like a fantasy, so I'm hoping it's going to go down that route and not necessarily, like, it doesn't sound like a dark romance, but I just always live in fear that things I pick up are dark romance, because that's not my vibe. Not at all. So I don't mind if it has dark elements, just, yep. Hopefully we're fine. Hopefully, we'll see. Roll number 7, which is a 10. Roll 9 was another 10. So for that one, I picked The Dream of Reason by Anthony Gottlieb. This is about philosophy from ancient Greece to the Renaissance. I have been studying classics, and so I thought maybe this would be somewhat interesting and maybe in some way slightly helpful. I'm not sure about that one. We'll see. And we'll see how we go with this. And finally, roll number 8. Give me something good. A 7. And finally, roll 8 was a 7, which is this shelf that you can only just see a little bit of. And I thought I'd do myself a favor and pick something short. So I went with Troilus and Cressida by Shakespeare. This is one of the Pelican Shakespeares. I think they are gorgeous. I have a couple, but again, as I said, been doing classics, and I thought that this would be an interesting read. It's come up once or twice in classes, so I thought that I would finally read it, and I think the actual play is just from that section, and I think all of the start is the same in each one until it gets to actually talking about the play itself. But it's the same introduction. So it makes it a little quicker to read, and hopefully that means I can finish maybe at least one honestly, I would consider 1 a win at this moment. So as I said, I will share the book that I decide to unhaul in my in my August wrap up. Hopefully this month will be a little bit better. Very much of the mindset lately that every tiny little step counts. So even if I read 2 in September, I will consider that a win over the possible 1 that I may finish in August. So crossing fingers that we do that, and that is it for today. One last thing I wanted to do, because I did promise Meredith that I would do this literally probably more than a month ago, and that is that I would show my new tattoo close up, and honestly I just keep forgetting about it. So today it's warm enough to actually just wear a t-shirt, and I'm going to show it to you. Not really sure how we're going to do this, so please bear with. Okay, I've just decided we're going to do it this way. So here it is. And this is a painting called The Call, and it is so gorgeous, and I don't know really how well you're going to be able to see this, but hopefully well enough. There it is. That's all I've got. Okay, I realized with that I actually forgot to film an outro. So that is it for today. Hope you're all doing super well, and I will see you all next time. Bye. And now my cup of tea is going to be perfect and ready to drink. Love it when that happens. I wonder if you can tell which one is the indie published one.